right, guys. Took me a minute to figure out how to get my phone on the right direction. So I am waiting to pick up my wife from the airport, so I figured we'd talk for a little bit while I'm sitting here at Midway with nothing else to do. Basically, I'm just kind of hoping that I don't get shot because I'm just sitting in a parking lot in Chicago. So we will do a little bit of live. While we're waiting, I want to talk about a couple things. A couple things that have been trending, that have been coming across my client intake forums. Emma Arms is in here, and your mom kind of inspired this, who just signed up for coaching. So we're coming up on the holidays, and everybody has that New Year's resolution. We're all familiar with it, and that's I'm going to lose weight this year. I'm going to lose weight. And I get so many inquiries, probably about 30 a day right now, on coaching, and I just want to know how much it's going to be for the new year. I'm just wondering on your process for the new year. And one of the things I always tell people, and I've said it in here, are why? Why aren't you doing it now? And it's not even the sign up for coaching. It's you need to have a plan. You need to understand what you're doing for New Year's. If you are just going to start at New Year's, why aren't you starting now? Because after the holidays, after New Year's, well, then the gyms are crowded. I can't join a gym now. It's crowded. They're going to have a sale in the next couple weeks, so I'll join then. It's February, and then I'm going on spring break in March. I can't be dieting over spring break. I'm not going to lose enough weight then. So we'll start after spring break, and then I'll be looking good for summer. And then you've put it off, and it's March, and, well, hell, I don't want to do that. It's almost summer. I got to enjoy barbecues. And now you put it off. Just start it. Get off your ass and start it. That's what you need to do. And people put things off. Let me tell you about plans and resolutions. And there's only 4 people watching, and I'll tell you about what made the biggest difference in my life. For years, I was probably the laziest person. I still am pretty lazy, but I was lazy, selfish, still am. But I had no ambition, no drive, no nothing. I'd go to work, do the bare minimum, and that's it. And one day I used to smoke. One day I just quit smoking. It was my New Year's resolution, and I quit smoking. Midnight hit. I just threw the pack of cigarettes down, and I never had another one. I was 22. And that was it. Last time I smoked. And I was like, oh, well, this worked pretty well. I did pretty good. And then it got to the next year. I needed a new resolution, and I don't remember what the second one was, but I did it. And then the year after that, it was, I'm going to quit drinking. I was out partying a lot. I lived above a 5 a.m. bar. I was a fireman. All I did was go out and party. So I said, I'm going to stop drinking. So for 2.5 years, I quit drinking. And then after I quit drinking, I really got to the point where I started a business, my first business I started, and I realized that I could do it. And I said, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this. And I did it. And then finally got to the point where I stopped the resolution part, and I just said, well, hell, if I can do all this, I can just do it. So my wife and I wanted to go to Germany, and I said, I'm going to learn how to speak German. And if anybody has seen the conversations me and my wife has, she said, no, you're not going to learn German. You're a moron. You can't do that. So I got up every day at 3 a.m. That started my 3 a.m. wake-ups. Got up every day at 3 a.m. and I learned German. I spent 4 hours every single day, 7 days a week, reading books, talking with tutors, listening to German audio, watching German TV. I took a fluency test, and I got to C1 conversationally fluent German. Went to Germany for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and did great. Had no issues. And then I realized I knew whatever the hell I want, because I just do it. I don't set dates. You just have to do it. And that's one of the big problems that I think people have. New Year's resolutions are nice. They're time frames, but why? Just go, get off your ass, and go diet. It just makes sense. Don't wait. Get a plan in place. Maybe you don't want to start till January 1st because you have a lot of things coming up, but have that plan in place. So January 1st comes, you can say, hey, I'm going to start dieting right now. My plan's already in place. January 2nd comes, boom, I already know what my macros are. There's no delay. There's no waiting. All right? So, guys, what questions do you have? Type them. I'm just sitting here kind of rambling until I see questions coming up. That's how these work. You type, I answer. A couple other things we're going to talk about that we'll talk about while we're waiting for some questions to come in. One of the things that came up, and I was talking with Brittany Sin today, and she said, I just need to trust the process. And I get the saying. I've said it. I've heard it said to me. It's actually one of my least favorite sayings in fitness. And let me tell you why. because you should understand the process. I had a really shitty coach once that I worked with, and he had me eating tilapia, asparagus, which I did not like, and I did like, and now I don't like it again. Tilapia, asparagus, chicken, and one sweet potato every 4 days, any size, just one. And when I questioned him on it, that was the first real experience I had working with somebody when I questioned him on it. Bro, just trust the process. And I said, why? Why does it have to be a sweet potato and not a regular potato? Why does it have to be asparagus, not broccoli, or Brussels sprouts, or anything? And those were, way, I could expand on those questions a lot more, but at the time I couldn't. And he said, don't you trust me, bro? This is what I do. I make champions, because he was a bodybuilding coach. And at that point I realized that's a stupid saying. Trust the process. Trust the process, bro. So I get it, but I think a better one is to don't rush the process. Don't overthink the process. That was it. Don't overthink the process. People spend so much time just overthinking this, and well, the scale went up a pound. The scale went up a pound today, and now my diet's ruined. No, that's water weight. You need to stop, and which is more likely? You had a little bit of sodium and it caused you to retain water, or carbohydrates make you get fat. That doesn't even make sense. And everybody knows these things. Most people know them. When I talk to people about nutrition, think about the first time you heard about counting calories. You're like, oh, I can count calories and lose weight? Yeah, who doesn't know that? And then you stopped and you thought, it has to be harder than that. No, it doesn't. Stop overthinking the process. Stop overthinking it and keep it simple. So we got some questions. If you have questions, type them. I'll get to them. Nancy said, what makes macros better than other forms of dieting? All forms of dieting are macros. You're just counting them. So macros just give you specific targets to hit. Total calories. That's what we're counting. Total calories. You eat less calories, you're going to lose weight. You eat less calories than you use in a day, you'll lose weight. You eat more calories than you use in a day, you'll gain weight. I don't care if you're eating 5,000 calories of broccoli, you will gain weight. If you're eating 1,000 calories, if you're eating 800 calories of Twinkies, you'll lose weight. People have done that, and it's how it works. If you eat keto, you're eating higher fat macros and lower carb macros and protein. If you're on Atkins, same basic principle. If you eat anything, you're going to have macro ratios. We're just tracking them, and we give you specific ratios because they affect things like performance, overall health with fats, muscle gain or retention. It's just a way of keeping you on track. We want to track your carbs because we can track your fiber, we can get your performance, and it really depends on your training method. I have clients who just track protein. I have clients who track all three macros. Just track protein and calories. Some who just track calories. Some who track all three to a T. Some who rotate every day because they're endurance athletes. So it just depends. But any method of dieting will get you to lose weight. But do you want to eat really low carbohydrates, like no carbs for the rest of your life? Tracking macros allows you to have that flexibility to eat at a restaurant, eat pizza, eat Twinkies, eat healthy, and do what you want and make your goals. Liz says, I think I've asked that question today before. I think Alex answered it via the article, but I've lost the answer. Is there any benefit when cutting to two-a-day workouts? It depends. For the general person lifting weights, no. If you are doing 2 a days, I would say lifting weights, no, not for anybody. It's pretty popular with CrossFit people to do 2 a days. Sometimes they'll lift weights, they'll like bench and free weights at home, and then they'll go CrossFit in the afternoon. If you are enhanced, if you're on performance enhancing drugs, yeah, there could be a benefit if you're an advanced trainer. I would say for the average person though, no benefit to doing 2 days. Probably going to hurt you because you're overtraining at that point and you can't recover. And if you're dieting, you don't have a lot of carbs typically because you don't have a lot of calories, and then you are going to have to replace your glycogen stores in between those workouts, and you're going to be taking in 20-30% of your carbs in between those workouts, and it's going to make your diet a lot harder. Now if you're running later in the afternoon, again, you're going to need carbs in between your workouts, but that's a different story, and I would separate them at that point, or try to run on your off days from lifting. Majoring in the minors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are missing the forest for the trees here with a lot of this. You have to remember that things like protein timing, carb timing, as long as you don't go extreme, even tracking carbs and fats, don't matter for the majority of us. Those are the small things, the things that take up the majority of your mental strength, that get you the smallest results. So I'm going to spend 90% of my time planning out meal timing and exact protein dosages and carbohydrate dosages per meal. That's going to take up 90% of my time tracking my meals and planning my meals, but it gets me 10% of the results. You can get the majority of your results with just tracking your macros. I believe it's Mike Israetel and RP Nutrition who has the 80% of your results are from macros and calories, and it takes 20% of the effort. I can track my meals in MyFitnessPal in about 4 minutes now, because I've been tracking for years. I think I have an 1,100-day streak, or somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100-day streak in MyFitnessPal, and I can track real fast. So if you're hating it now, it'll get easier. Steve Schaefer, if you have a question, guys, just type it out so I can get to it. I like to have a little bit of a lineup in there. Steve Schaefer, when using bench press and incline press with a bar, how far down does the bar come down, touch the chest, or below 90 degrees? Does the same principle apply when using dumbbells on a flat bench and an incline? Oh, good question. And actually, I just had somebody else ask me this today in a private chat. So I'm in my car, so I can't really show you. There is a Lane Norden video. If you Google Lane Norden bench press, the bodybuilding.com video and article on there is probably the best bench press video I've seen. He has a bench press, deadlift, and squat. I highly recommend them. They're very well put together. So you want the bar to touch for flat bench. You do not, let me see if anybody can see this. I don't want to come out like this. This 90 degree right here, that's crap. You're going to hurt yourself. You want to be down low. I want my hand, the bar, to be going right below my nipple line and right below my pec, and I'm going to try and bend it and then push up, and I'm trying to bend that bar up. You want your elbows to come as close to your body as you can without causing injury. And you want your arm and your elbow to be straight. You don't want it bent up or down like that. You want it straight, come down. If I remember tomorrow, when I'm at the gym, I will film and do it. Otherwise, those bodybuilding.com things are great, Steven. And there is a little bit difference where you want the bar to be for incline, and dumbbells do have a little bit variation because you can move a little bit. There's a Mike Israetel video where he talks about dumbbells on the incline, but typically, you're not going to be wrong to put the dumbbells where the barbells go. You see a lot of guys with military. Sorry, my dad called me. You will see people with dumbbells, military press, and they're stopping right here, this low. But when they're on a bar, they're coming all the way down here to their collarbone, which is where you're supposed to go to get that full range of motion. Go all the way up with your dumbbells too. That's what I do. I can't. I can stop here one time, and then here one time, and here one time, and I'm getting different range of motions all the way down and all the way up. Danny Heck, again, guys, questions. Type them, write them, get them stacked up. I don't care if it's how awesome is my beard, anything you want a question on. If I eat more than 35% of my calories from protein, will I die? I heard some professors say this on a podcast today. Sorry, can't handle this one. No, God, who else posted that today? I saw it. I didn't see the podcast. I didn't hear it, but somebody did. I did see this. I don't know if it was in a group wherever. No, you will not die. Maybe it was Brad Schoenfeld that posted it. That's stupid. You're not going to die. That's absolutely asinine. There's studies where guys were taking 3 grams. I think it was 3 grams per kilogram of protein. 3 grams per kilogram for a year, and they didn't have any issues. That's just a bullshit statement. And I think a bunch of people already called him out on it. But 35% of my calories. I mean, if you're eating 2,000 calories, let me do quick math here. We'll go with 30. Yeah, if I have 2,000 calories a day, that's 700 calories a day, right? 2,000 calories, 700 calories. I'm not doing this math right. 700 calories a day. 5 by 4, that'd be 200. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna. I'm already past that, I think. So you're not gonna. I'm not dead. Liz, can macro hoarding for dinner, for an example, be beneficial when cutting? Brittany Sin, I was just talking about like 3 questions you had, so go back and watch this from the beginning. Can macro handling... Oh, it was a keto zealot that said that. Thank you, Eleanor. That's why he said you can die from it, because if you have that much protein, you're going to get a you're going to get an insulin response, and that's the opposite of keto people. So that's why he said it. He doesn't want that. I just got into an argument with somebody about that today, too. Maybe that's why. Can macro hoarding for dinner, for example, be beneficial when cutting for all the hungry hippos out there, such as myself? So, yeah, you can. It's basically just intermittent fasting, and that's absolutely fine. Depending on how, and I know I've talked with you, I think I talked with you about this today, right? You can, depending on how advanced you are, and I would not do this if you're just starting tracking, take your calories and you can bank them throughout a week if you want. It's not something that most people are very good at until they've been tracking for a while. It's not something I even like doing. I think it's just too complicated. But for Christmas, one of the things I've recommended is, not to everybody, to a couple clients I have. Emma, if you're still here, this is what I recommended to you. Take 100 calories off 3 days before Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas. Don't eat like an asshole, especially Emma because she's in prep. But enjoy your Christmas, have a meal, and then the next 3 days, take 100 calories off each day too. And that works. Or you could fast like people do. So you could fast until you're going out, you're having a big dinner, big family dinner, big date, whatever. Fast. You wake up, fast until 2 o'clock. You're not going to die. Nothing's going to happen. You can go a couple days without food. People day fast all the time. So you might not feel great, especially if it's the first time. You might feel like you might, oh, I'm so hungry. Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about that. So what I would do is just fast until 2 or 3, and then make sure you've already planned your meal and have enough calories, and you'll be fine. When cutting, how much less macros do you need? It depends. Different people have different goals. If you're a bodybuilder, natural bodybuilder, you really want to diet for a long time, and you want to diet on the most amount of calories possible so you can maintain muscle mass. A healthy weight is what I would go for. So there's no set deficit because everybody's going to have different activity levels and everybody's going to need different calories. But what you will definitely want to do is diet in a range where you're losing 0.75 to 1.5% of your body weight per week. Now, the total deficit, the percentage you'll need will vary based on each person, but that's the range you'd ideally like to diet in a healthy, sustainable diet. Nancy, where do I get my total calorie intake based on my physical activity? We have that calculator. If you go to macrosinc.net, there's our calculator, and we will figure that out for you. Or you can make a post in the group, and somebody would be happy to help you determine that. It's going to vary widely. People have such different activity, things like that. Macros are amazing. Yeah. Food is good. Hey, Mr. Miller's in here. Carl's in here. Any other questions? I'm going to have to go in about 5 minutes. Allison's plane just landed, so she's going to be yelling at me that I'm not there. So if you have a question, write it. Otherwise, we will be out of here in a minute. Again, if you don't have your if you're one of those people who's, I'm going to diet come New Year's. New Year's is going to be the new me. Make the new year today. Get off your ass and just do it. There's no time like the present, because guess what? You've put it off before, right? And you're going to put it off again. The other thing that I want to tell everybody is be prepared to deal with all of the people you work with, your family, your friends. Oh, I'm going to start dieting. How do you diet? How do I do that? I will tell you, as somebody who does this for a living, I do not tell. I send my friends and family here. I give them a copy of our ebook. I tell them to read it, and that's it. If they have questions, after they've read it, if they have questions, then I know they're serious. But I'm not going to sit there and waste my time and explain all of this to them, because I could talk about this all day. You guys see me talk about it all the time. So what I do is give them little homework assignments. And if they're not willing to read a 28-page ebook that's large font with half-page text, then I'm not willing to give you my time. And that's really what it comes down with. I've had people that I've done that with. They've never gotten back to me. They've come back to me 6 months with a question and they're down 40 pounds. I've had people that have read every single thing, asked questions, joined everything, and never dieted still. So it varies, but don't get frustrated with them. They're trying to better themselves. The key is to have to help them help themselves. If you don't know where to go, you don't want to give people false information, send them here. That's great. You guys see how much free stuff we have, and I talk to people all day. That's all I'm doing, is talking to people about coaching, and I try to tell people if they need coaching. If they don't, I tell people, yeah, it might help you, it might not. I've told somebody just before I started this on direct messenger, I said, you should not be dieting right now. There's no reason. You're pregnant. There's not a reason to diet. Watch your intake, but I can refer you to somebody, but I don't think you should be dieting. Perfect. She said, in 10 months, are you going to be here? I said, yeah. I said, I'm your client in 10 months. Great. So don't always tell these people dieting. Dieting's not always what's going to be great for them. But send them here. We can work with them. Liz said, when you are including street food, something you haven't cooked into your plan, how do you make it fit without impacting your diet? Ooh. If it's planned, you plan ahead of time. Otherwise, you estimate the calories the best you can, and you adjust on the fly. You're gonna have to live with decisions. If it's like 1 a.m. and you're like, I need a taco right now, and your day's already been spent, you're going to have to live with that. You could subtract it from the next day if you wanted to. It really just depends on you. But if you're talking about just estimating something, you have calories left, you're just going to estimate it. If you're not really good with visual estimation yet, it will come to most people who count calories for a long time. Otherwise, what I do is try to find a brand, a chain that has the equivalent. So if it's Mexican food, I might go to Chili's, or there's a couple, Pepe's Mexican restaurant in Chicago lists all their nutrition info. If it's a hamburger, I typically use, depending on the burger, I'll use a place like Chili's, I'll use a place like McDonald's, I'll use somewhere like Five Guys or In-N-Out if I know the burger. So try to find an equivalent. That's the best option. This is going to be the last one I take. If you guys have a question after this, post it in the group because I'm going to have to get going. So Cheryl said, macro super newbie here. Worked out macros using the online calculator. I've read articles where some calculators use lean body weight, goal weight, or current weight, which is correct if interested in fat loss. All of them. So the calculators are just estimations to give you a starting point. Every calculator, anything I do by hand, any formula, any calculator, anything, they're all just best guesses. They're all just places, hey, start here, and then once we actually get real results and real data to look back at, then I'm going to make adjustments. The longer you've been doing this, the more accurate you can get with your guesses, more accurate than a calculator. A person can get more accurate, but if maybe we miscalculated your activity, maybe all of a sudden you really got into this and now you're really active. If you've been under eating for a while, you're probably pretty sluggish. Now we give you a bunch of calories, you're pretty active. You might lose weight when you think you're trying to gain weight. So everything is really just trial and error. Pick a calculator, stick with those macros, try them for 3 or 4 weeks, and then we adjust there. If you're gaining weight, we'll drop calories. If you're maintaining, we'll drop calories. If you're losing weight, we'll keep it the same, if that's your goal to diet. So if for fat loss, yeah, okay, perfect. So guys, if you have a question, I'm gonna get going because I got to pick somebody up at the airport. If you have a question, write it in the group, direct message me. It's all I do all day. And that's it. All right, guys, have a good night, and thank you all very much.